वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरे। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमाश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपाकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। The way we should speak the Mahamantra is like the child crying out to the mother. Just like we heard Akrish crying for his mother some time ago. So let's do it again. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'm going to bring up the Nectar of Devotion, installment 25. So as usual, the beginning of the lecture will be revision from the past lecture. That's how I used to study during school and college. Always revise the previous chapter before you go to the next chapter. Okay? For the Yuva devotees who are studying. It's a very good way of revising when you go to the next chapter. That way your memory becomes more firm. So we pay obeisances to the Shat Goswamis, who are the direct disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sanatana Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Jiva Goswami and Gopal Bhatt Goswamis. Just by taking their names, we get purified. And this book is written by Srila Rupa Goswami, he is the second from the left, younger brother of Sanatana Goswami, and translated by Srila Prabhupada. So as usual, since we're going to transition into Bhagavad Gita, so we're going to revise the shlokas. We have been trying to memorize. So 1.1 everybody knows, including Rudra. So Rudra, can you recite 1.1 shloka? Dhritarashtra uvacha Kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava mamka pandavascheva. Hari bol to Okay, really? Okay, so next we're going to recite the 2.12. Na tva vevaham jatu nasam na tvam eva me janadipaha na chaivam na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam ataha param. Hari bol. Very nice. So now we're going to go to 2.13. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jaraha tatha dehantar prapte dhiras tatra na muhyati. You all are supposed to speak together. And then we had done 2.22. Anybody remembers? Very famous shloka. 2.22. Va samsi jirnani yatha vihai. Yes? Navani girnati naro parani tatha vihai. Jirnanyani sanyati navani dehi. I'm confusing, I'm putting the other one. Huh? No, that's 222. I purposely put that because you're supposed to memorize the 222. Okay. So we're going to get a new shloka for. Let's do it again. Now you can read and see. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihai. Navani girnati naro parani tatha shrirani vihai jirnanyani sanyati navani dehi. Just like we change clothes from the worn out old clothes to new clothes, similarly the soul changes bodies from the old body to the new body. So this is the concept of soul Krishna is bringing up. Meaning the soul never dies, it just changes the body from the old worn out body to the new body, just like we change the clothes. Okay. That was for Praveen Prabhu in Hindi. तो प्रभु बोल दीजिए एक बार, पढ़ दीजिए. Yes, it has to be sung. So Navani. So just repeat after me. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihai navani grinati naro parani तथा श्री राणी विहाय जीर्ण अन्यान्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Very nice. That's how it has to be. That's why it's sung this way. Yes. Yes. Okay. So now, hearing the revealed scriptures, we talked about it last time, which is mainly Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. It's very important for devotional service that we regularly read and listen to the revealed scriptures. Revealed scriptures are the Shruti Shastras. So the Shastras are two kinds, Shruti and Smriti. The revealed scriptures are the Shruti scriptures. So Bhagavatam is the topmost, is called the Grantharaj Bhagavatam. And there are only two scriptures which has Shrimad affixed before the name, Shrimad Bhagavatam and Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, because they are literary incarnation of Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So it's very important that we hear about Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita very regularly, or read them regularly to advance in the devotional service. And it is said a person who reads the Vaishnava literature or just keeps, which is less desirable, just keeping the literature in their home, Lord Narayana, who is the official form of Krishna, actually resides in that house. So if you keep those scriptures in your house, that means Krishna is personally present in your house. That is the instruction. So then the next was residing in Mathura, which is like residing in a holy dham, which it is not that you have to live your whole life in Mathura. Even living, visiting and staying in the dham for little time is desirable. And Prabhupada, when the new Vrindavan was made, he said that this new Vrindavan is non-different than Gokul Vrindavan in India. So by going there, like we're going to go there, stay for 2 days and immerse ourselves in Harinam, lot of very good devotees who have been practicing singing Harinam for a long time will be coming and will be immersed in the Harinam for 2-3 days, and that will give us a lot of spiritual benefits. So it's very good that we are all traveling there, except Akrish. So we'll take him when he's a little bigger. So, and then when we go to the holy dhams, it's not that we just go there for sightseeing or listening to some music. We should actually associate with the devotees. And in these holy places, elevated personalities live. And we should go and associate with them. So when we go to New Vrindavan, we will meet a lot of elevated devotees who will come there and also who live there permanently. And we should try to associate with them. And one of them in particular is Barsana Maharaj. He lives there. He's actually made a temple of, he made a kunda there, like Radha Kunda, on top of the hill. And then he made a, okay, I remember only Radha Kunda. And then he made an open air temple of Shiva. So they said wherever there is a dham of Krishna, Shiva is always present as the guardian or the caretaker of the dham. So he is named that there is a Shiv Linga, and he named it Kundeshwar Mahadev. Because it's Kunda, so it's Kundeshwar Mahadev. Then we have Gopeshwar Mahadev in Vrindavan. So Kundeshwar Mahadev is there, and Barsaram Maharaj lives there. He takes care of that. And last time we had gone, and that time was the auspicious day of appearance of Radha Kunda, and he had a bath in Radha Kund at midnight. It was a full moon night. It was freezing temperature. He had bath in that, and there's some other devotees who also had bath in that Kunda. So that Kunda is sanctified because of all these activities. So we should go visit. There is also a Gaushala where there is cows who are protected for life, live, and devotees take care of them, and they give milk, and they make ghee out of that milk from those cows, and we should make effort to purchase that ghee and bring it and use it for lighting our lamp and even making prasadam. So we should, and then there is a little garden where they grow vegetables, which Prabhupada said we should all try to grow as much food as we can and offer it to Krishna. So we should all see that in our visit. Then is yes. There is a palace of gold that was made by the palace of gold that was made by the devotees for Prabhupada to live there. So it has a lot of gold covering. It's no real gold there, but it's called Palace of Gold because of the gold color. But Prabhupada lived there only for one day. It's very opulent. But Prabhupada didn't. He had come to serve, so he was always traveling. He never lived there. And so many people had commented that, Prabhupada lived in the Palace of Gold and others were living, in tents and huts and very austere places. So it's not that Prabhupada wanted it. It's the devotees' love for their Guru that they made that. And it's a very big undertaking. It's a lot of effort, and Lakshmi must be, used for that, and we're all going to see that when we go there. And also there is a huge sculptures of Gaur Nitai overlooking the big pond that's there. So there are a lot of things to see, but the main attraction is association of the devotees. So next is rendering service to the devotees. So that's very obvious. That's what we do. We come here, we serve, Somebody makes prasadam, somebody serves prasadam. We decorate the altar, we set up, afterwards we clean. So all these are services, and we are doing it for each other, for devotees, and that's a very purifying process. When you serve with love, then there is an inner feeling of satisfaction, because the soul is meant to be a servant. But servant of who? Servant of Krishna. But when we come into this material world, we forget our constitutional position of serving Krishna. So the soul in this material body is trying to serve. And who they serve? They either, get a dog and serve the dog, feed the dog, bathe the dog, take them out, even pick up their droppings, and a lot of services they do people. Why? It gives them satisfaction. They are not realizing that they're supposed to serve higher purpose, but they lost it. So, or they will serve their spouse, or they serve their children. They will keep serving till they die. They're always thinking of how to help. So that's because the soul wants to serve. And so rendering service to the devotees is like serving the Lord. Krishna says when he is happy, when his devotees are happy. So if you want to please Krishna, you have to please the devotees. Okay, so that's the understanding. Then there is serving the Lord according to one's position. We discussed that although Krishna is very happy with patram pushpam phalam toyam, you give him a leaf, tulsi leaf at the best. flower, fruit, or little water, Krishna will accept it if you offer it with love and devotion. But we should serve more than that when we have the capacity to do that. And one should serve Krishna according to their own capacity. And I gave the example of the squirrel which is carrying a small pebble to make the bridge during Sri Ramchandra's excursion to Sri Lanka to rescue Mother Sita. So, and Sri Ram appreciated that small squirrel was doing to the best of her ability and strength by carrying a small pebble, whereas the big, powerful monkeys and the bears, they were carrying the boulders and mountains. So, performing devotional service in Kartik, that's a very auspicious month. Actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the opulences of the Supreme, Krishna says, out of the months, I am the month of Margshish. That is actually December, November, December. But Kartik month is, for devotees, even more auspicious than the month of Margshish. Any reason you can think of? Because Kartik month is the month of Srimati Radharani. So, what is dear to Srimati Radharani is even more dear to Krishna. So, similarly, Radhakund is more dear to Krishna than his own Shyamkunda in Vrindavan. So, that's the... And the Damodar Leela happened in Kartik month when Krishna got tied with the rope by Mother Yashoda because of her love. Observing festivals, celebrating the Lord's activities, we discuss, we should celebrate all activities, not only Krishna Janmashtami, but all other Leelas. We have Govardhan Puja, we do Rath Yatra, we also observe the Fulan, the flower yatra. We bring flowers and we put a swing and we put Radha Krishna and do swing, and then there is a spring and autumn, Ras Leela celebration. So there are a lot of celebration. We should all enthusiastically participate in all those celebrations. Serving the deity with great devotion. This is a huge topic, and there are books and lectures on it. The deity is none other than Krishna himself, and especially when the Krishna is in a deity form, and a pran pratishtha has been done, so it's a living form of Krishna. And if you serve the deity with great devotion, that will help you advance in devotional service very fast. So all devotees should aspire to have deities in their home. You can either have Laddu Gopal or you can have Radha Krishna. And Nitai Gauranga should also be there. It is said that you cannot approach Krishna directly unless you are very highly elevated personality, which we are not, obviously. So you have to go through the Guru Parampara. From Guru to the Guru Parampara, then you go to connect to Shat Goswamis and go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then you can approach Shyam Sundara. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none different than Krishna. He is Krishna. He is the avatar of Krishna. But to go to Shyam Sundara, you have to go through the lotus feet of Gaur Prabhu. So, that's the understanding. Then, recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam among devotees. So, we should always recite Bhagavatam. Some of the lectures are based on Bhagavatam, but we should try to read Bhagavatam at least once. And so, if you don't have Bhagavatam set, you should get Bhagavatam set and keep it in your home and read it. It takes many years to read Bhagavatam. It has 84,000 shlokas. So you can calculate, if you read 4 shlokas a day, how many days is going to take? 20,000 days. So you can see how many years that is. So you have to read certain set number of shlokas or certain number of pages to finish Bhagavatam in 2 years. I finished in 2 years. So it's a huge granth. And the glories of Bhagavatam are unlimited, because Bhagavatam is the living example or living commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And examples are given, the life stories are given, very wonderful stories. All these stories of Narsimha Dev, appearance, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Vamana Dev, Bali Maharaj, all these stories are coming from Bhagavatam. Wonderful stories, and if you go in depth, there's so many lessons in them. It is said that any situation you face in life, you will find a relation to that in Bhagavatam. And not only relation, it will give you a solution, how to handle that problem in your life. So, it's unbelievable. Associating with advanced devotees, that is, understood. We always should associate with our Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada and the Shat Goswamis and Mahaprabhu. How do we do that? Since Prabhupada is not there, Shat Goswamis are not there, but their books are there, the instructions are there, their lectures are there. So that's how we can associate with them. And whenever advanced devotees come in Chicago or to center, we should make a point to attend and associate with them. Okay. And it said, just associating with advanced devotee for a minute can be life-changing. So, Narad Muni actually met Dhruv Maharaj only for 5 minutes. And he gave him instructions. Right? And Prabhupada similarly has examples. He met some devotees for 5 minutes. Or he just said Hari Bol to some people, and they dedicated their life and became very advanced devotees. That is the power of the Advanced Devotees Association. Chanting the holy name of the Lord, that is the summum bonum, or the baseline, or the basic concept of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We take it lightly, we don't take it seriously, but it's a very powerful process. I have studied a lot of other sampradayas, other ways of reaching Krishna. This is the most powerful, most important process, and we should sincerely try to follow. Start with 4 rounds and keep increasing till you come to 16 rounds. And nothing else will, give you Krishna Prema except this. Sincerely, attentively chanting the holy names every day, 16 rounds on the beats. And this is one process that is, talked about across many spectrum of faiths and sampradayas. Satnam, holy name, this, that. But the process of chanting, the way Mahamantra is chanted on the beats, the instructions are incomparable. And the benefit is also incomparable. So let's not take it lightly. Let's not postpone it, because we never know when, the end of this material life will come for anybody of us. So let's not postpone it. Let's not trivialize it or take it easily. We go Friday, we listen to the Katha, we do Kirtan, and we'll come back. That's enough for me. No, that should not be the mood. Everything else is 1%. The chanting of the holy name is 99%. And everything else we do, listening the Bhagavatam, doing the Kirtan, and assisting the devotees, eating prasadam, is increasing our faith in the holy names and the process of chanting. So, I cannot emphasize more. Then is living in Mathura, we already discussed that. Just staying for a little while also is beneficial. So, this is the shloka for today, 2.23. It's also a very famous shloka. Again, Krishna is bringing up the concept of soul. See, people don't, the scientists, should not say people, scientists don't recognize something that you cannot feel, see, measure, reproduce, in experimentation. They don't believe in it. So the concept of soul is beyond the concept of these, Prabhupada used to say, mundane scientists. He says you have to be a spiritual scientist to understand the science of knowledge. So this shloka says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, Nainam dahati pavakaha, Na chainam kledyanti apo, Na shoshyati marutaha. So now the meter has changed. The last one, Vasamsi Jirani, was a long meter, 4-line shloka. So this one is a little different. Nainam chindanti shastrani, Nainam dahati pavakaha, Na chainam kledyanti apo, Na shoshyati marutaha. Anybody can attempt to translate? So it's the concept of the soul. Nana means no, right? And so no in English came from actually Sanskrit. Na means, in the other shloka also we said, Na tu evavaham. Na means no. Chindanti means to puncture or penetrate. Chindanti. Shastrani. Shastra means weapons. So no weapon can penetrate or puncture the soul. So now Krishna is bringing the concept of soul. So if you have something, okay, you can say, okay, so what is that thing that nobody can puncture or do anything? So scientists will not believe it because they have to see it, they have to feel it, they have to know it, and they have to prove it. So nobody knew about X-rays till they proved it by some experiment that it can cause chemical reaction in a film coated with silver halide. So then they'll believe, okay, yeah, there is X-ray now. So they call it X because it's unknown. So soul, they will never be able to prove it in those experiments. So the next line is Nanam dahati pavakaha. Pavak means fire. So fire cannot burn it. So anything material, if you see, it can be burnt. So that's how you prove it. So you bring something and you can even burn the metal. If you heat it enough, anything will burn. So the example is the sun globe. It's always burning everything, and it is, getting disintegrated by fusion atomic reaction. So na chainam kledyanti apo. Neither can, apo means water. So the water cannot make it wet. Na shoshiti marutaha. Maruta means air. The air cannot dry it. So that is the meaning of this shloka. So it's a very wonderful definition. So some people say, oh, it meets the definition of electricity or energy. But we'll see, as the concept comes up, even the energy and the electricity and all does not meet that criteria of the soul. And so please try to memorize this shloka. So I'm giving only very few shlokas, not the whole Bhagavad Gita. There are actually people who have memorized the whole Bhagavad Gita, which I don't think we have that much of capacity. But these some shlokas should be memorized. Actually, you can memorize and recite them every day, and that's how you keep them in your brain. I'm sure Rudra is reciting them every day in his brain for him to remember so nicely. Okay, so yeah, we just did this synonyms. We'll anyway speak again. Na, never. Enam, this soul. Chindanti, can cut to pieces. Shastrani, weapons. So when you say Shastra, it's weapon. When you say Shastra, it's a scripture. Na, never. Enam, this soul. Dahati, burns. Pavakaha, fire. Na, never. Cha, also. Enam, this soul. Kledayanti, moistens. Apaha, water. Na, never. Shoshyati, dries. Marutaha, wind. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Jai Shri Krishna. Okay, now we come to the real lecture for today. So where is Sapna Mataji today? She told me, Prabhuji, your lectures are very short. So I said, okay, Mataji, I will make them very long. Then some people will complain they are very long. So that's why I'm trying to make them long. Is the prasadam ready or can you continue? Is ready? So we'll stop here, we'll wait for Sapna Mataji to make it long. Okay, go through it quickly. Okay. So 5 potent forms of devotional service. So Rupa Goswami he has stated that 5 kinds of devotional activities, namely, out of all the ones we read, residing in Mathura, which means a dham, or visiting, worshipping the deity of the Lord. So if you have deity, even a picture of the Lord is considered a deity. Reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you have Bhagavatam at home, please open it and read it every day. Serving a devotee and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra are so potent that a small attachment for any one of these 5 items can arouse devotional ecstasy even in a neophyte. So at the early stage, you can connect to any of these 5 and it will arouse the devotional service. So if you have noticed, like I hear from many devotees, so somebody, when I came myself, I got attached to very much to the Katha. So Bhagavad Gita was going on in the Bhakti Vriksha by Shankaraya Prabhu. And then, some people come, they get attracted to the Mridanga playing and the Kirtan. It's very attractive. And some people get attracted to the Prasadam. Some people get attracted to the, Vaishnava dress and the Vaishnava etiquette. We wholeheartedly welcome everybody and, try to help and be good, friends. So that attracts. So there are many things that can attract in the beginning and germinate the seed of Bhakti Lata Bij. We all have a hidden or dormant bhakti or devotional service in our heart, which is the position of the soul as discussed. Soul wants to serve Krishna, but that's become dormant. So by these activities, it is aroused. So we'll see. So when we went to New Vrindavan first time, I was in Golok, out of this world. The Kirtan, the Prasadam, the devotees, association and the whole atmosphere. As you enter that dham, you get those vibrations, So that's the power of residing in Mathura. So you go to Mathura, they say the Mathura has the same, even manifold higher change in consciousness when you visit. So whoever will be visiting for the first time New Vrindavan with devotees, you can go there. Many people go to New Vrindavan, see Palace of Gold as a tourist attraction. That's not visiting Dham is. You have to go with a mood, you have to go with devotees, you have to associate with devotees over there who live there and participate in the activities. That is the real visiting of the Dham. So we'll see that. Then devotional qualifications. So as we mentioned that, there is no qualification to be devotee, right? Prabhupada made it open for all. What is it? This slogan, Americans have slogan, no child left behind and nobody left behind, something like that, right? So Mahaprabhu said nobody gets left behind. whether because of their caste, position, age, education, or whatever you have, or sex. The women were not supposed to do certain things. So Mahaprabhu said, no, there is no qualification for chanting the Harinam and becoming a devotee. So, but then as you enter, then you have to do certain processes and become advanced. So the only qualification is that you should have faith in your heart and desire to execute serving Krishna and his devotees. And nothing more than sincerity. That is the only devotional qualification. And that is the end of the lecture. Any questions? Any comments? Yuva devotees, any questions? I know they have been listening very attentively, so they must have some question at least. Vasudha, I think you have a question. Say it. Don't have? And what about Vidushi? No? Arya? No? Chiku, where is Chiku? No? Okay, Natalie, you have any questions? You should have. No? What about you, Ishani? No? Okay. So can I ask you all a question? Okay, I'll start with Ishani. So what attracted you most, Ishani, when you came to Krishna consciousness? Kirtan? Natalie, anything attracts you? Maybe the prasadam, the food? No? Or maybe just the friends? Friend circle, the music, and the friend circle, the friends, yeah? You have good time with them, right? Arya, you? The association. Okay, great. How about the riddle? Okay. I remember Vidushi, first time when she went with us to New Vrindavan, I asked her a riddle. And I didn't give her an answer, so she had to wait for 2 days to get an answer. So she was thinking for 2 days. What about you, Chiku? Friends in the Prasadam. Okay, good. And Vasudha? Prasadam for sure. Okay, good. So, how about you, Rudra? Why you like to come to Vedic Center? Can you tell us? Why you like to come to Vedic Center? Apart from your mother drags you, what makes you come here? What do you like? Oh, so you like the class. Excellent. Excellent. At least somebody gave credit to Anand Vyarni now. Excellent.
The most elevated soul among us as of now, because he cannot read or write, but he hears and he retains and he can follow very nicely. He can read the Bhagavad Gita just by numbers.
Wow. So there was a story of a devotee when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South. He went to South many times. Actually, he found Brahma Samhita in South, in one of the temples there. Just one chapter, everything else is missing. Just the 5th canto is there that we recite of Brahma Samhita. Imagine if he had found a whole book.
He did find the whole book. He just wanted to bring the 5th chapter back.
No, the rest of the Brahma Samhita is lost. There is a tradition in South that every year or at certain time frame, they rewrite the scriptures and they put the old scriptures in the yagna. And sometimes somebody makes a mistake, throws it before writing, so it's gone. So a lot of scriptures are lost that way. And so that's what I heard, that Brahma Samhita complete is not available.
It says that with Chaitanya Charitamrita that he actually found the whole chapter, but only the 5th chapter was the most important one, which is actually talks about bhakti, and that's why he brought that back.
Yeah, but
The rest of the chapters talk about material creation.
nobody knows the rest of the chapters where they are.
It's not the full fifth chapter, though, only 30
Yeah, even that is not there fully.
He only brought the most important part that talked about bhakti.
Okay. Thank you for your input.
That's why it says
So there was a devotee who was holding Bhagavad Gita and always crying. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very impressed. So he goes to the devotee one day, near the devotee, and he says he was holding Bhagavad Gita upside down. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him that you're crying and but you're holding the Bhagavad Gita upside down. So he said, I can't read. I am illiterate. So then he says, if you are illiterate, you can't read, then why are you crying? So he says, I am crying because I heard that Krishna, out of his love for his friend Arjuna, became his charioteer, driver, which is a very lowly position. So that Supreme Lord, who became a charioteer for his friend, thinking of that makes me cry. So meditating on that point, he kept crying. He used to cry and just hold Bhagavad Gita in his hand. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this person has understood the Bhagavad Gita more than anybody else. So you're right. You don't have to be educated or able to read to be a devotee. So similarly was a story that I told about that Brahmana, again in South, who was very poor. He could not offer anything to Krishna. So then he heard a lecture that if you don't have anything, you can do your archana by meditation. And that's a real meditation. So he started doing the archana in his mind, meditating on the Supreme Lord. So he will get up early morning. He's going to the river, have a bath, put on nice new clothes. Then he will come home, offer best of the things to Krishna's altar. Then he will prepare the bhoga, very elaborate bhoga he will cook, chapan bhoga. And so one day he was cooking the kheer. So it's a tradition that you don't give hot kheer, you don't serve, you let it cool down, it tastes better. Nowadays we put it in the fridge, those times there was no fridge. So you keep it for some time and then you offer. So then after a while he says, let me check if the kheer has become cool. So it touches and his hand is burnt. He touches the empty pot because he has nothing. He didn't even have money to buy the milk and the rice to make the kheer. And his hand gets burnt. So then in the Kshir Sagar, Lord Narayana is lying on the Sheshnag and Mother Lakshmi is doing the Path Sevanam. He smiles. Then Lakshmi asks, why are you smiling? So then he says, there is something very interesting happened. So then he summons the devotee over there. And then he says to show your hands to Lakshmi ji. So he's flabbergasted looking at Narayana and Lakshmi, He reached Vaikuntha and he shows his hand and then he says, Narayana says, explain what happened. Then he explains and so Lakshmi ji also smiles. Then she knows that why Lord Narayana smiled. And that is the real meditation. Not making your mind blank and try to, be in a trance. That's meditation should be on Krishna and his pastimes. So that is the other story that we heard. So we conclude. So anybody wants to recite Prasadam prayers, you can read from your phone if you have not memorized it.